We have got our weekly CAIC Avalanche report, and we have got Brian standing by. Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. I'm doing well, and we are here to talk about, of course, all things Avalanche. So let's kind of jump into a few things, especially with the spring weather that we have coming. There's lots to expect. So please take it away.
Yeah, spring is springing. Our snowpack is certainly going through a transition period, and oftentimes these transition periods can prevent a variety of avalanche threats, and this year is no different. So I want to break it down into kind of two main categories of avalanches. One is less in your face, but much more dangerous, and that's what these photos are showing here. So essentially through a large stretch of the central and northern mountains, so this would extend from the Elk Mountains around Crested Butte and Aspen, north kind of through the Gore Range and the Vail Valley, through Summit County, and then north along the Front Range, all the way up to Cameron Pass on the Wyoming border, where we still have these lingering persistent slab avalanches. And what we've seen is every day or two or three, another big, really big avalanche, big enough to snap some timber, is releasing, particularly out of thinner than normal, windswept and rocky slopes like this one. So here's an example from near Ashcroft, from just several days ago, another one near Breckenridge, and you can see these all have the same flavor. They're all on near and above tree line, so high elevation slopes with thin snowpack coverage and a lot of localized shallow spots or rocky areas in the snowpack. And these are the kinds of terrain features we really want people to be leery of. You're much safer where the snowpack is consistently deep. And here's another one, a really big tree snapping avalanche near Snowmass from just a couple days ago. You're often not going to see obvious signs of instability like cracking or audible collapsing before you're releasing these things. So the best way to not get caught in what are really unsurvivable avalanches, just given their size, is to avoid these kind of windswept areas where you've got variable snowpack with a lot of thin spots showing, like here in the Never Summer Range. The other problem is more in your face, but more predictable and not as much of a threat. And so we had a lot of snow from our last upsloping event, which put feet of snow into places that don't normally see this. So this includes areas along the foothills and the Front Range, but we did get healthy snow amounts that even made it up into the mountains. And what we're seeing because of these spring temperatures, lots of strong March sunshine combined with temperatures climbing into the 40s, even 11,000 feet, are loose, wet avalanches, which can pile up a substantial amount of debris in the right piece of terrain or on the right road. A lot of these are releasing on sunny slopes with rocky features that are exposed because those rocks can heat up quite quickly. And so each afternoon when we're warning about loose, wet avalanches, this problem is pretty much statewide. Most of these wet avalanches are quite small, but we want people to really consider the consequences of even a small avalanche. Even small avalanches like this can push you off your feet. And, in terrain like this, not so much of a threat, but if they push you into rocks, trees, or over a cliff, these can have, and do result in injuries or worse.
Now, Brian, as we move forward kind of with these spring temperatures, what are a few things we should kind of look out for?
Yeah, so throughout the rest of this work week and into the early part of the weekend, we're on our slow stabilizing trend. We're still getting good nighttime freezes, so we're easing into our melt freeze cycle. But things do change as we move into the weekend. And here's a model run of some snowfall. And you can see we stay pretty dry here in Colorado until we get into late Saturday and into early Sunday morning, when we get enough snow to pile up, anywhere between 6 inches and 12 inches as we get into the early part of next work week. That's going to introduce a new round of storm instabilities from new and drifting snow. So until we get into essentially Sunday and into the early part of next week, we're on this gradually stabilizing trend. Just watch out for loose, wet avalanches in the afternoon and avoid these really thin, rocky, windswept areas in those portions of the central and northern mountains we discussed.
Yes, and those spring temperatures bring new amounts of snow. And let's go ahead and talk about where we can access anything for live totals or anything like that for anything avalanche and to be safe out there.
Yeah, please check colorado.gov/avalanche. As usual, conditions do vary depending on where the state you're going. You can also get up-to-date information on the CAIC mobile app.
Fantastic, Brian. Thanks so much for the update. Always appreciate it. We'll see you next time.